Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a long time since I posted anything, but real life has just got in the way with work and different other various different things. But yeah, I thought I would come back. I've been tinkering with the rules for the war game that I'm coming up with, which is Duty. So I thought I would show you a turn or two of a small skirmish game that you do. So the idea behind Duty is it's basically small level skirmishes, sort of no more than maybe uh, 7 to 15 models aside, so it's quite small. And the idea is just to sort of get people to, you know, get their models on the table as quickly as possible, because especially with historics, you know, you're buying box sets of 40 or more models, and you know you're going to need a couple hundred maybe before you're able to sort of play a game. So this is sort of aimed at smaller level games, just to sort of tide you over. So it's quite quick play, really straightforward. And I don't know, I've been having fun with it, so that's why I thought I would show people. The basic sort of premise of the game, or the rules of the game, are based on dice and a deck of playing cards. So if I just shimmy the camera here. So what you do is you have one deck of cards between two players, and roughly about 10 dice each. And how the game works is you draw cards based on the number of models you have. So for this demo game that I have, which is just a sort of a straightforward fight between the Yorkists and the Lancastrians, each side has got 7 models. Therefore, each side is going to draw 7 cards. So if we just do that now, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 7. For the Yorkists. Okay, so neither player knows what their cards are at the moment, but basically what it is each card is determined on a chart that I have over here on my laptop, which I will put up as a PDF underneath. Each card, depending on what it is, allows a certain number of activations. So a 2 to a 7 allow 1 activation. An 8 to a 10 allow 2 activations. A jack allows 2 activations with a bonus to combat. A queen is the lucky one, which gives you 3 activations. And then a king is 2 activations with a bonus to shooting. That all sounds a bit complicated right now, but it's relatively straightforward. Let's say, for example, that we're having a game, and I'll bring a Lancastrian down here and place him there. And so the Lancastrian player draws his card first, and he's drawn an ace, and the Yorkist player has drawn a 2. Now an ace is a special card as well. An ace actually means that a model misses a turn. So let's just say we'll skip past that one, we'll draw the next one. There we go, we get a queen. So the Lancastrian player gets a queen. That means that his model can do 3 things. A movement is 1 activation, a shoot is 1 activation, charging is 2 activations. There's reloading for any models that are armed with handguns. Aimed shot, which is 2, and a retreat, which is 2. For this model, because he's drawn a queen, he's armed with a bill. Let's just say he decides to charge, and that's what he does, okay? So he'll do his activation, whatever that is. You place a little marker beside him then to show that he's finished, and then the Yorkist player would activate on their 2, which is lower than a queen. Ties are determined by the colour of the card, with red getting preference. So for example, if both players had drawn, say, an 8, and one was an 8 of clubs and an 8 of hearts, then the 8 of hearts would get preference, and that's how that would work. So that's sort of the main sort of premise about it as well. Shooting and fighting and everything is done with the D6. The cards are purely for activations, and that's sort of really how it goes. So I'll set these models back, and we'll try and I'll stagger through a game and see if it makes sense, and any feedback would be greatly appreciated. Okay, so the models have been set back, and we're just at a chance engagement. It's sometime after one of the great battles of the Wars of the Roses, and a knight and his retinue from the Yorkists and a knight and his retinue from the Lancastrians are roaming the countryside looking for food or shelter, and happen to run into each other, and obviously, because they are great enemies, decide to have a scrap in this abandoned hamlet. So both sides have drawn their 7 cards. Before each turn begins, the players have to roll what is called the fate roll. And basically what this is a d3, and whatever the players roll, they have to remove from their pool of cards. That means potentially they could only get 4 activations a turn. The maximum they can get is 6. What that represents is that battles aren't really a straightforward sort of you go, I go, as that one side may get a surge forward on one occasion, and the other side might work forward. May just be a little bit slower in that turn. The thing that counteracts that as well is that perhaps the Yorkists could lose 3 cards, but all of their cards then after that could be kings, queens, they could be high level cards, and so it would work out in their favor regardless. They would just activate less models. So that's sort of the premise behind that. Let's roll the dice, see how many cards they're losing. Oh, so the Lancastrians are actually losing 3 of their activation cards this turn, and the Yorkists are losing 2. So let's take 2 out for the Yorkists. And out of curiosity, it was an 8 and a 6, so not too bad. Put those over to the side. And the Lancastrians are losing 3, and one of them was a king, so they've lost one of their quite high-ranking cards. But we'll put that down as well, just out of the way. So both players then just flip their top card, and we've got a jack to start things off. Great card, usually a little bit better as the game goes on because it's a combat orientated card, but this card allows 2 activations, and because it's a higher card, this allows a model on the Yorkist side to go first. And so they'll do that. It's 2 activations, has a bonus to combat. That doesn't necessarily mean it has to be used by combat, and you'll find in the early stages of the game, it's often best to use your bowman to disrupt the enemy. So what this bowman is going to do, he's going to move his 6 inches, so all models move 6 inches, for 1 activation, and then using his second activation, he's going to take a shot at this leading bowman up here. Now, models shoot. They've got longbows. Longbows are slightly easier to use than crossbows or handguns in this period. So he's going to roll the dice, and on a 4+, because he's able to shoot through this lovely gap, it's just a straight shot, and on a 4+, he will hit. And he misses. Okay, so unfortunately the arrow goes wide. We put a little dice or a marker beside this model to show that he is gone, and that's the Lancastrians, or that's the Yorkists, sorry, done. Move over now to the Lancastrians. I've rolled a 7, which is just 1 activation. So for sake of argument, this archer that's here is also within 18 inches and is going to take aim at the plucky little Yorkist who decided to run forward. Now, he unfortunately does not have a true clear line of sight because this wall is slightly in the way. So what that means is he can shoot, but he's going to suffer a -1 penalty because there's a wall in the way. So he will hit on a 5. And he manages, unfortunately, to miss. And again, what we do is we place a little marker beside that archer to show that he has gone. And apologies, I've got the world's worst tripod here, and it just seems to be constantly shaking, so I hope that has been rectified. So that's the first activation for each side done. I'll move the cards over slightly here so you can see them. Sorry about the angle setup, I'm just trying to get everything in. So both sides have used 1 archer. So let's flip the next card. For the Yorkists, they get a king. Oh, and it's a queen for the Lancastrians. Now, although the queen is the highest card in terms of activations, the king is higher in the level of suit, so that does mean that the Yorkists get to go first. Now, this is an activation that allows 2 with a +1 modifier to shooting. So what they're going to do is they're actually going to take advantage of that and move this guy forward, up. And because there's an advantage to shooting, he's going to try again to shoot at this billman, and even though there's a wall in the way, which would normally be a -1 to hit, the king allows a +1 to hit, which means that it's just going to be a straight 4 up to hit. And unfortunately, again, he misses on a 2. So there we go. Now, the queen has got 3 activations, which is just absolutely great for the Lancastrians. So what they're going to do is move one of these archers out 6 inches. So he's now got a clear shot. And an aimed shot normally costs 2 activations, but because the queen allows 3, 1 movement, 2 for an aimed shot, now he's got a clear run at this guy. He's going to actually be able to hit on a 3+ and manages to hit. Okay, so once you're hit, you have to take a save. Different classes of warriors have got different saves, just sort of to reflect the nature of how they were. Billmen tended to be a little more heavily armoured. They have a save of a 4+. Knights and heavier male armoured men have got a save of a 3+, and unfortunately archers, because there were so many of them, and they're usually only armed with maybe thick leather jerkins or helmets, he has got a save of a 5+. So this archer has to try and save on a 5, and he fails on a 4. So this archer has been taken out, and what we do is we take the card that he was activated on, which was the jack, we place him on it, and we just move it off to the side for now. We'll come back to that later. So the Yorkists have lost their first model, and that was this archer here. So we place an activation token beside him, and we move on to our cards. So this time, Lancastrians are drawing a 9, which is 2 activations, and it's a queen for the Yorkists. So let's see if the Yorkists can get their own back. This archer will attempt to move across. Now there's a wall in a way, which is a -2 to his movement penalty. So he's actually going to move 4 inches over here. But then he's going to have a clear shot down against this archer. And he is within range. And he's going to be able to hit because, again, using the queen, 1 to move, 2 for an aim shot. He's going to hit this archer on a 3. And he manages to hit. Again, Lancastrian archer will try to save this on his armor of a 5, and he fails. So the Lancastrians have also lost a model. Okay, so there we go. We've got an archer side taken out, and now we go into the Lancastrian move. They have got a 9, which is 2 activations. So, not being best pleased at losing one of their archers, they're going to move another archer up and take a shot with him as well. So this archer, you can move freely through your own men. He's going to move 6 inches up. Again, through the gap, going to try and take a shot at the archer who has just knocked out his friend. So again, no modifier to this, straight 4 up. He misses. We mark that archer up. Okay, we're going on to the cards again. It's 2 for the Yorkists this time. The Lancastrians on their last card for the turn is a 10. So the Lancastrians will be going first. At this point, I think, throw caution to the wind. I'm just going to do a double move with one of the billmen. He is going to move a full 12 inches up in anticipation for next turn. So there he has. He's gone charging down the gut and isn't been marked up as well by a dice or suitable counter, however you like to do it. The Yorkists are going to maybe try and consolidate the position. Use one move of this guy, 4 inches because he's moving over a wall. Hop him to there, mark him up with the dice. And the Yorkists have one more activation left. It's a 7. So again, just one more move. They might move this billman here, just up beside the archer. And again, mark him with a little dice. Although usually at this point, it's no longer necessary because that is the end of the turn. So, at the end of the turn, we remove all markers and counters from our warriors, our miniatures, and we lift our dead models off their cards for now. We gather up all the cards that have been used this turn, shuffle them back into the deck, and we draw again. Okay, so we're in the start of turn 2. We have got our deck of cards. Our initial starting number again was 7, so that's what we're going to do first. We're going to draw 7 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. However, this time, because we have lost a model each, that affects the overall performance of your men. So each side chooses a card, and it can be any card. Choose a card at random. So there's one for the Yorkists. Choose one here for the Lancastrians. Ignore that one that just fell. And this card becomes essentially locked out of the game because that card would have been used to activate this model. Out of curiosity's sake, it was a 6 for the Lancastrians, not too bad. For the Yorkists, an 8. So a double move for the Yorkists there. Could have been quite bad. Okay, Now we go back to our fate roll, again at the start of the turn, a d3 each, just one each, so not too bad, equal footing this time, 5 activations each. For the Yorkists have lost a queen, that could be big, and the Lancastrians have only lost a 5. Okay, so with that done, we go to the first flip of turn 2. And it's really sort of just as straightforward as that, you just play the turn out. So we've got an 8 for the Lancastrians and an ace for the Yorkists. So not going good for the Yorkists so far this turn. An ace means that they have to choose a model immediately, and that model can't do anything for this round. So this Billman is just going to be out. That means we're going to go into the Lancastrians, who have got a double move, 2 activations. So what they're going to do is attempt to charge over here with this Billman into the Billman that's straight ahead. So a charge move is 6 inches plus d6 inch move. This model is actually 6 inches away, but for sake of completeness, let's roll the dice. So this model charges a total of 11. So he can move around here into the side of this Billman. All models have got a 360, so it doesn't really matter. Just turn that Yorkist to face him. So how combat works is both models roll the dice and compare the results to see who wins. So it's really, really straightforward. The model that charges gets a +1, which represents sort of the aggression or the impetus that they've had chasing forward. So in this case, both models are going to roll 1 dice. The Lancastrian is going to get +1 to the dice roll to see who wins. And that worked out well for the Lancastrian because both of them rolled a 2, which means that the Lancastrian actually got a 3. So he's won this battle. Once he's taken a hit, just like shooting, the Yorkist must take an armor save. Now Billmen are slightly better armed. They are saving on a 4+. And he saved, so he manages to save. So that charge didn't work out too well for the Lancastrian. Okay, so with that done, we go to the next flip, which is a 2 and a 2. Okay, so here we have our first tie, but remember, reds take precedence, so the Lancastrians actually get to go first. What they might do is try and clear out this area, take a shot with this archer against this Yorkist archer here, shooting over a wall, going to be hitting on a 5+, and just missed. The Yorkists will attempt to just shoot back. Why not? Hitting on a 5, no. So both archers this turn doing absolutely nothing. Now, next flip, we've got a 10, we've got a 9. So, Yorkists are going to go first. Yorkists are going to charge with this Billman in here. Again, he is within 6 inches, but for sake of completeness, rolling the dice, he would have managed to go 8. So he's going to charge in here. Now, this is where fights get a little bit more tricky. In this fight now, which happens again, this model is going to suffer a -1 because he is outnumbered. So there are 2 models now fighting him. So this model doesn't get to attack again. This model does get to attack, and he suffers a -1. So the blue dice is going to get +1, the red dice is -1. Which again worked out very well because they got a draw. This actually turns into a 5. That would turn into a 7, which means that the Yorkist has won. So the Lancastrian player has to take a save on a 4+, and fails, so that Billman has been taken out. His charge down away from his mates did not go out well for him. So we take out a card that has already been activated because that model has been activated and place it out. Okay, so actually I forgot that 9 hasn't been used yet. So this model will be taken out. This is why you do use the card that he had. So take out the 8 and put him under it. So, and the next card now is a 9. So that's a double move for one of the Lancastrians. He is here in an open area now. So he's going to take a shot at that Billman that hasn't activated yet. And he's going to do an aimed shot because he's got 2. So he's going to hit on a 3. And he hits. And the Billman has to take a save on a 4. He doesn't, so another billman is taken out. Okay. Now, this model has not yet activated. He gets to fight back. All models get to fight back. Because he hasn't activated, we take an unactivated card, and he is taken out with that. And it was an 8. So, we're on to the last card now for the Yorkists, which is a 7. The Lancastrians have drawn a king. So, excellent for the Lancastrians. The king is going to go and move their lord up twice. So the Lancastrian knight has moved forward, and then the Yorkists get to go on a 7. Just going to move their lord up to here. Mark him with a little dice. That's all that the Yorkists can do this turn. So the Lancastrians go, and again they get a queen. An excellent treble move. And they're going to use that to move this billman up next to their lord to do a little bit of support. Okay, so we've kind of covered everything that the game entails, except for one thing, which is how morale works. So as a battle progresses, more and more men are killed. The side that, well, basically as your comrades fall, you get a little bit more sort of cautious in battle. And that's where the morale phase comes. So at the end of a turn, once you've tidied everything away, and just before you begin the following turn, you do morale. Now, we didn't do morale last turn because it wouldn't have worked, and the reason it wouldn't have worked is you subtract, you roll the dice, you add the number of models that have been taken casualty to it, and if that number exceeds the starting number of models you had in your warband, then your warband is broken and the rest of them flee the field and the enemy takes the day. So last turn they had only lost 1 model each, which meant that even if one player had rolled a 6, they would have been equal, which is not greater than 7, so no band would have been in danger of running at that point. There's a slight chance now that one of these bands will run if they roll a 6. So we've got a red dice again and a blue dice. If a 6 is rolled, then one side flees. No, this one's very close. 7 is equal, but they will fight on for another turn. But I think that's long enough. I mean, this video is going on just over 20 minutes now, and I don't think there's much else that really needs to be showcased. So I hope you enjoyed that. I mean, it's still a work in progress. There's still things that I could be doing better. But yeah, I think it's good. You know, for example, one thing that I should say for example, they had a roll of 6, that would have been that warband done, and the Lancastrians would have taken the victory. So yeah, I mean, that's the basic premise. That's sort of the game system. And I know it's a bit cluttered over here at the minute, but that's because I'm trying to fit everything into the camera. You would have more space. All the rules are here, so I might create a PDF and attach that into the comments below if I can. And yeah, we'll go with that. But cool. Anyway, hope you liked that. Any questions? If you liked it, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, let me know. All feedback will be taken seriously. But yeah, thanks and happy wargaming.